welcome to The Downside. This is a Patreon exclusive, but we release a good chunk at the beginning. I do want to say a quick thing, because a couple things.
And this is my nightmare, because you guys are doing this announcement. I have to just sit here, not have my opinions.
You can have your opinions.
I'm in a rage.
You can have your opinions.
Please.
I will, a couple things.
We brought you here to rage.
I can understand that in the episode we recorded directly after the election, it wasn't necessarily the day that you wanted to hear the opinion of three straight white men. Let me say this.
Well, one of them is also worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and I think that is something to also think about.
Okay. Well, let me address that.
Not these guys.
First of all, actually, this is the most important point. I mentioned a night terror that Tova had the night of the election, where she woke up and said, "Why didn't you let me vote?" And so there were a couple comments go, why didn't you let her vote? So just to be perfectly fucking clear, I let Tova vote as long as she voted for Jill Stein. And that is an agreement between us. That is none of your business. And I can't wait for the comments that go, I can't believe that you did that. I was talking about a night terror. Number two, and I always think that the fact that it was three straight white guys speaks to how maybe overly confident I was in the results of the election when I made that booking.
When he set it up.
Third, I will say this. Lucas talked about having dinner with Jeff Flake the night of the election. If Kamala had won, Jeff Flake would have been in the cabinet. I do, in fact, think it's an interesting perspective to hear someone who is having dinner with the person who would have been part of the thing. These people exist. People with money exist. And I do think what I love about Lucas is he's very honest. He's honest about it. And if you hate it, that's fine. But he's honest. And I'd much rather have an honest rich person share their literal truth than what is most politics, which is rich people
Politics,
lying.
Anywhere. Comedy.
Comedy.
Yeah. How'd you get into comedy? Oh, I saw a sketch. Are you sure it wasn't your mom? Are you sure it wasn't?
Liza took a private jet here today, but she's not going to mention it, and she's probably going to make me cut it after the fact. She's got a private jet.
I wish.
And then the last thing I'll
I
say...
flew Delta. I am Diamond.
Yes.
Diamond Medallion.
The last thing I'll say is that one thing that I did think that what I liked really about what Lucas said about comedy specifically is there's sometimes with a joke, you'll lose someone in the setup. You'll insult someone in the setup, and so they'll never listen to the punchline. And I mean that even metaphorically in terms of if you want to sway someone, you do have to bring them in to sway them. But it was him expressing like something that he learned from a way that his setup was like, fuck you, fuck this group of people. And so they wouldn't even get the punchline where maybe you could sway one, two people.
I've been talking to men about rape culture, I would say, for 25 years. And it never affects them, ever.
Sure.
You
don't think you've ever swayed anyone in your entire life?
I've left conversations going, I fucking did it. It was worth it. This was hard. Like, this is awesome. And then I see them again and they're like, but why didn't she call the cops? Like, it's every time, It's like I have these nights. I had to stop wasting my time. I would sit at the cellar. I would sit on the stoop. I'd sit till 6 a.m.
Guys, watch Lisa's last episode if you want to hear the conversation she's talking about.
Having these discussions and it doesn't really stick. You need, it needs to be violence, if anything, if what we've learned in this election.
Sure.
Violence, murder, mean. Be mean.
Yeah.
Salman Giorgio had a great little post. He goes, you're not going to change their mind, but you can ruin their day. You can be mean to them. I'm going to be a bitch.
Sure.
Being nice hasn't worked. Has being nice worked?
It's not.
Has reaching across the aisle worked? No, these are animals, okay? And they should know who they are. Good. And the thing is, they're about to see they voted for their own demise, and I can't wait for their kids to not have schools anymore. I can't wait for them not to have bonuses.
Too,
yeah, but their lives will be terrible too. You know what I mean? And that is the silver lining in this. They have ruined their own life, hoisted by their own petard. Mm-hmm. And that's the only thing I'm holding on to. The Taylor Swift concert in a few weeks, and knowing that these people are gonna suffer.
Now, is there a part of you that would love for Taylor Swift on that stage to go?
It's going to be in
Canada. Those of you here who...
I think she did it on purpose. She is a genius.
Sure.
Every post-election show is not in America.
Not in America.
Really?
Yeah.
She has no more in America.
It's just, it's TV. It's Toronto and Vancouver, and that's it.
do you think would you be excited if Taylor Swift said, "Hey, just want to write a little message. Any of my fans who voted for Trump, go fuck yourself."
Oh God, yeah. The feeling I just had inside me. Yeah, I would love that. It's not gonna happen, but I would love it.
No. Is there any part of you?
I would love it if she went. Suck it. Yeah.
Well, how you're feeling is how we had a conversation the night of when it was in the throes of it, and my thing is like I feel like, and we kind of talked about this before. There is this thing where you're getting the culture, you're getting the comedy things, you're getting these good things, and then you're voting against all that, and you're being like, fuck you to the people doing it. So there is a feeling. My initial thing was too, is like, no, you don't get that stuff anymore. You don't get me. You don't get the stuff that like there. And I don't know how to do that, but there is that feeling of like cutting people off from getting to have the benefits of art and culture and comedy.
But there's no way to do that. There's no way to do that.
No,
I'm telling you, it's violence. I don't know what I don't know if I'm not being clear.
But
I think it's putting your leg out and tripping someone. You know,
Sure.
I think it's that.
But are you on? I mean, you surely are stopping and buy some red states on the tour. Are you going to go do some tripping?
Oh, that's a really good point. I was not going to go.
I
to the red
understand in
states.
theory what you're saying. You're no more red states.
I think I'll see that. Now, I do have a date in Texas in April. We'll see what it is. I think our rights are going to go quicker than we think. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But so I'm not sure.
Okay.
You know, it's
how far are you planning the tour? Are you getting new dates from the agent and you go, no, I don't think we're making it to that February.
No, we're booking like normal. My Netflix Hour special's coming out in March.
Oh yeah.
I think they haven't confirmed. Okay. So I'm just hoping it's a massive success.
Sure.
The people in London
I'd have to move.
are obsessed with me. They just need me in a British spy drama as I do comedy at night and all the little fun chat shows, and then I leave and become like a little darling in London. That's where I'm like.
Wow. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Do you feel like London, you won't find out more about their fucked up things too and go, well, fuck London?
Oh, of course. Yes. Yes, I am a Jew. I don't know. They had the Brexit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not great, but this maniac, I can't have white Christian nationalists.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
If they start rounding us up, I gotta be I don't think I'm that important, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I think I'll be taken.
Sure. You really think?
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to be. You're gonna have to do an apology about me next week.
every new Patreon's
we
gonna
just
be
keep finding people to be like, hey, we're 3 years later, we're still
is a
apologizing.
perspective worthy of discussing.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. That's the shitty part. Like all the cops are the Nazis and the KKK. Like they have the guns. They have it. They have the chutzpah. They're in the Capitol. They're out there murdering and shitting in the Capitol. You know, insurrection. We're soft.
I do think there is a thing with Democrats.
We're theater kids.
Where Democrats go like, hey, when we lost, we said okay. Look at, and I'm like, no one cares. No one's like, wow, what
so
a great
proud.
Loser.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, did you see how well we lost?
Yeah.
Did you see how nice we were about losing?
Yeah.
Look
Losing
at
the
us.
entire country.
And
Good game.
One thing that has really resonated.
That was a
with,
sports reference. Did you guys get that?
We did. Yeah.
One thing that you got to say, great show. Break a leg. One thing that really resonated with me was that there's so much of like calling Trump a fascist, and then all these leaders, the second they lost, they said, well, it's fair and square. It's going to be okay. We wish to. You don't. If you really believed, or I don't believe. It's not that I don't believe what they said about Trump. It's that I think that they didn't care the way that they spoke, because if you do view this person as an existential threat, you don't call and go, "Hey, just wanted to say congrats. We got the tweet ready saying good job." Then you look back and you go, "Oh, it was hollow." They're
all hollow. They've all been friends for decades. Like, they're all just like hobnobbing at each other's bat mitzvahs.
There was that dinner that
kids,
Jim Gaffigan like did comedy at, and it was like Trump and Schumer were like joking in a way where I'm like, you guys are clearly friends. You guys are clearly friends. No matter what you say, you and Chuck Schumer and Trump, you're clearly pals. Yeah. And you behind the scenes, you go, you.
Well, it's not going to affect any of
Good
them.
luck.
No, it won't affect them.
That's the thing. And I also feel there's, in our land, and it's good, But I think there's an ignorance to a lot of people, like what it truly means to live in an oppressed nation. You know, Iran,
Yes.
the girls were in mini skirts in 1970. It changes like that. There was the Soviet Union, then there wasn't. Now there's Putin. It happens fast. And so this idea
America,
of
though,
people
is-
being chill, it's like, oh, I don't think you get what it is. And because of my parents, it's just like in me and in a sick way where
Remind people.
so my dad was born in 1938. My mom was born in 1945 in the former Soviet Union. And yeah, starving, living under Stalin. It's like a bombs in the air.
How did they when you were a kid, did they say, let me tell you about what it was like?
No, we don't speak. What are you talking about? What are you talking
Well,
about?
where did you learn about like
when
what their
my
upbringing
dad gets
was like?
when my dad gets a little blacked out, we'll get a snippet here and there.
Yeah.
So we wait for a blackout.
And what does he say?
It's like horrible stories about his brother having to like cover him, and he would know the difference between a bomb plane and a plane that would drop supplies and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my
or
God.
his first memory of being a child is watching like a soldier die that didn't have food, and like knowing his mom was hungry, but you know, her feeding them, not him. Just stuff
Jesus.
like that.
Yeah.
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 And then my mom says that my dad was the lucky one. Like his family had a camera, right? So like to my mom said she had it where she's like, I remember just a string with a little light bulb on the edge of it, and like taking care of her stuff, right? Because she only had one of everything, and stretching the paycheck so you can get just enough food at the place. So I grew up with people that's their background. So I just like I'm like. I just kind of, because of that, feel, not that I know, because I don't, but there's people here whose family are in war zones now. You know,
mean,
it's not like this unique thing. I don't want to take on my parents' trauma that was decades ago. But it's just like, I don't think people know what they're fucking with.
I think
and
you
that's
saying
what bothers me.
things going fast too. Just thinking of like just the last conversation we had when you said that there's some states that people can't go to Pornhub on.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, wait, what? In America right now, and I didn't know that, and
I
I
was
was
saying,
like,
I know from touring, like I get to that scene, I go, right, fuck.
Well, I pay for my porn, so I get to watch porn wherever I am.
Hey, I never said I wasn't a premium member of Pornhub. I could be premium. I don't know, whatever that
No,
costs.
but I mean, like, that's
they
the
do
thing
that
of,
now
like-
where they're like, I have all these videos that are like, it says like premium, and you have to pay if you want to watch that video.
It feels so un-American though. That like you can't access porn. Like you're like, there's like something where you're like,
Yeah, but again, per your point, there's things that feel American, and we're about to find out those were not guaranteed
Yeah.
things. They were.
No, and I was someone that was like called hysterical, annoying, a lunatic in 2016, like,
didn't mean any
like
of
a
it.
lot of people. Oh, and so I have had this dread forever. And I feel like, it's in the pit of your stomach. So I'm just enjoying what I can.
Yeah.
Trying to get this Netflix special out. Like,
you filmed it.
Is it going to come out at least before
March?
Yeah.
Okay, so after.
After, yeah.
After. Can you imagine if he did an executive order specifically
more
for
comedy
your?
specials.
No, I'm not. I don't like obvious like worst things about. But every time I'm like, this is it. It was like COVID, and then right when I was going to be in a TV show and it was coming out, strike, and then now like I am just like, yeah, I'm destined to kind of chill. No, that's just my own self-centered view. Of
Well, I
it
was
all.
jealous of you.
I have
You-
it pretty good.
You did. We texted shortly after. I forget after, but you were taking a soul. You took a Soul Cycle class the day after the election,
I did.
and I feel like
yes.
what was the vibes?
So I thought the vibes were going to be different when I signed up for it.
Yeah.
Oh, you signed up. You didn't
Yeah.
sign up like 10:30 that night. You did it the day. Did you think it was going to be like a
Women, like we were
a
all
celebratory Soul
I
Cycle?
didn't even think about it. I'm like, she's gonna win. Like, I was like, because not to brag, I'm an actress now, and I was filming from 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. during the week, and
yeah.
like on the road on the weekends. But I'm in this challenge. I'm almost at my 200th ride, so I'm just like really like wanting to Soul Cycle. So I was like, I think I could squeeze it in Wednesday after they like, oh, this will be great. And then it was like all day. I was like, should I cancel? Should I not? And I'm like, I should just get this out.
It was your
Like,
200th.
No, that'll be this week.
Oh,
but
exciting.
Hell yeah.
that would have been devastating. I don't think I would have done it. I would have canceled
That's
it.
so funny.
would've
Hey, I know
canceled
this is a bleak day, but one glimmer
They
of
bring
light.
you- they
It
bring you
is
a-
Liza's 200th ride.
And I hope I'm wrong about all
It's
of
the
this.
only victory women had
Yeah.
all week.
I want to say I hope I'm wrong about all of this. You know, I hope I'm wrong. I hope
Sure.
everything stays kind of worse for our most vulnerable, and I stay okay.
Yeah.
We could always hope for that.
My bleak hope is that the machinations of the government are so slow and grindy,
I don't know,
and
man.
that some parts are obfuscated, and it's not as quick of a shift. I do think there will be states that become very different and start feeling like a different country. I do think New York, California, I think there are certain states
I mean,
that
California, the referendum to outlaw like slavery in prisons didn't pass. So, you know, it is like even California's like, yeah, but we need the prisoners' labor.
Missouri, someone told me, because I was in Missouri where like shrooms are kind of legal, but abortion is not. And I'm pretty sure.
$15 minimum wage.
But Missouri, yeah.
Abortion,
Missouri,
I think, got saved.
Yeah.
But the women still have to wear long sleeves in the government buildings.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, I would look it up, but I don't think it got
Can we look at-
reversed.
can we-
But in the building, it had to be more
No,
professional.
I
Women had to
believe
wear
you.
long sleeves now and like skirts. Missouri,
And skirts?
I don't the skirt, but it's long sleeves.
Oh, my God. Men and women or just women?
Just the women. The men wear suits already. They thought it was unfair.
Oh, I see.
If we need to wear a blazer, these bitches need to hide their titties.
Can I just say, though, this is my point about taking my shirt off in Soul Cycle class.
Yeah.
I think let people take off their shirt Soul Cycle class, because you should just, I think the more, when you impose clothes onto people, that's a sign of things going a different way.
I know. I'm with you there, and I wonder if it's like the sweat fall. I don't know.
Can you
'cause
imagine
I
if
would
the
hate
Soul
to wear a
Cycle after
shirt.
the election, that's where I made it like, hey, let's talk about this today.
Yeah.
Wait, he got the mic up. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you're fully right. And
Yeah.
also, it passed in 2023. It's like a recent thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like right, but Soul Cycle. So the whole day I was like on set. We were all feeling it. Like since our call time was 4 a.m., everyone was finding out as they were arriving to like shoot this low budget thing where there's no private rooms or anything. You know, it's like
Yeah.
really roughing it. And so everyone was having their own thing. And who decides to speak? The one white straight man wants to say a quote. And
What did Lucas say?
It wasn't Lucas, but that's amazing. That is amazing.
A quote.
I wish I could feel bad for shitting on him, but when someone's that rich, it's like let us shit on you a
but
little
again,
bit.
all I will say is this, because because I never want to feel like I'm having on people on my show and then after the fact being
Talking
like,
shit
fuck,
about
Talking
him.
but,
shit.
but I
Yeah,
will say
yeah.
this is that I really like Lucas.
Yeah.
And I think because, first of all, as we said before, there are rich people.
Well, he
And,
did play a rich person in this movie.
Of course, he doesn't hide it.
But you got to, I didn't mean to be shady, but I said, oh, did you bring your own clothes? And he got really upset. But it was like a tech vest and a button down. And I was like, oh, did you bring your own wardrobe? And he did not.
Sure. I like him. I like him as a
We
comedian. I like him as a
him.
person. And again, there are so many rich people that all they do is lie and
about
hide.
being rich.
And I feel like,
Yeah.
per his point of being like, he was at that dinner and he was like, this should be where people murder me.
No, he did say that,
He has
yes.
a feeling of like,
People should be
I know.
revolting that he's at that dinner and there's like people that are controlling the world at that dinner and we're like, you know, yeah.
So
No, you're right. You don't want to shit on your former guests. So basically, all day on set, it was like weird feelings. But a few of us, not a bunch, a few of us. The makeup woman had a bottle of tequila, so we like drank it out of coffee cups, smoked some joints, and I was like, "Let's fucking go! Like, let's get this energy out. Let's get tired, so I could pass out to wake up again at like 4 a.m."
Yeah.
But I was scared because her name is Karen, the teacher, and she's blonde. And Soul Cycle is, you know, evil in terms of who owns them. Equinox, you know.
Oh, do they? Oh.
I'm sure they give millions to Trump, right? All business, like so many businesses do.
can you you should say, if someone at a Soul Cycle class did, hey, do you guys fucking know, as they're waving the towels, like, do you guys know all this money that we spent today is going to Trump? I would love to see.
Yeah. But I go to Chick-fil-A sometimes. It's just like, I don't go to Hobby Lobby. I don't know. It's like tough. The world's hard. It's like, I don't know.
Sure. Sometimes we have dinner with Jeff
We all
Flake.
have
It all is
fun.
there. We're all doing things.
No. Yeah.
We're all doing things.
We're all doing things. We're all doing
we're all
things. That's
doing
why it's hard to be
On-
so
yeah,
opinionated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're running out of things.
But as I got there, everyone in the locker room was like, can you fuck? Like, you know, everyone was sad. And then immediately was like, lights out. Like, everyone knew the vibe. The playlist was for rage. She cried during the stretches at the end. I was bawling. Like, it was, and I hadn't ridden that hard in a while. Like, because I was all in the back, and I even got a little attention because it was just like people were riding hard.
You're holding 2 weights in each arm for the arm section.
Yeah, and Karen's crazy. Like, she's one of the tougher teachers, I would say, as well. So it was like,
Could you ever be a teacher?
No.
I have this fantasy
to speak and to ride. I could
Well,
barely.
you're doing you get to ride and then you walk around and be like, there you go. I have a fantasy of like, I get to play, like I get cast as a soul cycle teacher, and then I'm like, well, I got to do it, and I do it. I think my sister did it on the beach in LA. She was a spin teacher, and it was really cool. It was really cool to like watch. My family
Some
member.
people are born to do it.
Yeah.
It is awesome to watch some of my favorite teachers.
That's why I like Peloton. I like Cody because he's funny enough.
Yeah.
And you'd be so funny. If
Yeah.
you taught a soul cycle class, I'd be like, I would sign up immediately.
Maybe for charity, once my Netflix special really pops, I become so popular, I'll start doing soul cycle classes.
Yeah.
God, I'm, you
I
know
tell
how
you
they're like
something?
New Year's, keep your expectations normal? This is what I do my whole life. My expectations on everything are here. And then I'm always like, all right.
Yeah.
I'm still pretty happy about it. But then I went home and showered, but then like I walked to get weed because the next day was my last day and I wanted to like provide joints for everyone. And so I walked to get weed. I got Taco Bell. This is Wednesday. And everyone was on their phones talking about the election.
Yeah.
But New York is so beautiful that it felt like I felt lucky. It was like this dread.
I agree, yeah.
But like and Soul Cycle, she goes, we live in New York and we need to think about all the people that are really going to suffer right now.
Yeah.
And even people in New York and like homeless people everywhere where it's now like illegal, it's
Sure. Well,
it's
can I tell you,
scary.
Renan?
But seeing the people and being on set and then like, I don't know, it's like special, but it's fucked to be like, I guess this is 1933 Germany and we're like partying.
But Renan Hirschberg, again, this isn't comforting, but he had a really good joke about like, he was basically like, it's the election. It's like when you weigh yourself on a scale and you look at the number and you're like, oh my God, it's like, well, you were that same fat piece of shit before the scale. This was just like where it was at. Like, it was funny because I went to Indiana the weekend after the election and some like 3 people were like, be careful. And I was like, Indiana was filled with these people before, but
they're emboldened. All these celebrities who were secret suddenly are Anthony Davis posting with the hat. Like, people didn't say they're emboldened now.
There's a comedian. I won't say who. We can say that afterwards.
Okay. Well, let's. Okay.
No, but
if you want it, no, we're gonna get there.
We'll get there.
If you want to listen to the rest of this episode, join the Patreon, patreon.com/downside, and. I
won't say the name on the Patreon.
Oh, I thought
and
this
the
was
cutoff
all
point
the
is
Patreon.
right.
I wouldn't have acted so crazy.
And join the Patreon.
You're listening to The Downside.
The Downside.
With Gianmarco Soresi.